to start work again, but I did want to start this video as well. I have no idea what this video is going to turn out to be. The only reason I started filming this was because I'm going to a very exciting event later tonight, and I did want to incorporate that event into some video, but I don't have any plans for a video. So this could be either like a week in my life or a couple of days in my life, or some mixed match of a like vlog versus a what I'm doing, what I'm reading kind of video. I don't have any specific books that I plan to read for this video. I am in the middle of 3 books, which I can probably talk about later. Now onto the main event of this vlog. I'm going to a night with the Schwab. Schwab is doing a book tour across North America for her new release this year, which is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, which I think came out last week. I want to say on June 10th. But yeah, she's touring North America and she's in my city today. So my partner and I bought tickets and we're going to her show tonight. I'm very excited for this event. I've only read one V. Schwab book, which is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, but I've heard countless good things about like all of her books. I am currently in the middle of Vicious. I've been in the middle of this book since January because my boyfriend and I are currently buddy reading it, and we've been kind of reading it any chance we get, just like chapter by chapter. So it's been a really slow crawl getting through this book. I'm really enjoying Vicious. It's just that my partner and I don't have like that much time to read together, so we kind of run into a little bit of issue there. However, we're both really enjoying Vicious. I loved The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I recently just reread it again, and I've heard nothing but good things about Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, so I'm so excited to hear her talk about it. As well, everyone who goes to the event gets a signed and embossed copy, so I am super excited for that. Just a couple hours of work left, and then after that I'm gonna get ready and then prep dinner stuff for my family at home. My partner and I are going out for dinner before the show because that starts at 7, so we're hoping to make it into the city by like 5:30. Doors open at 6, so we'll see how that goes, but I'm so excited, and I'm so excited to get my hands on the new book. I don't think I'm going to make this a full-blown reading vlog, but I will talk about the books that I'm currently in the middle of because this is a reading channel. Like I mentioned, I'm currently reading Vicious with my partner. That's been an ongoing thing for the past 6 months, so I think we're at like 60% now. There's nothing wrong with reading books over like a large span of time, especially if you know, you don't read every day or you don't feel motivated to read every day. But I will say it makes the reading experience less engaging. So the fact that I've been reading Vicious over the span of 6 months is kind of crazy to me. Vicious is kind of like an anti-hero storyline with like 2 morally great characters, one named Victor and one named Eli, in which they kind of discover that you can gain like superpowers or extraordinary powers if you have a near-death experience. That was Eli's thesis, and they both experimented on it, and now they have EO capabilities. You're kind of flip-flopping between present timeline and then past timeline of when they kind of discovered things were going on, and it flips back and forth. So you kind of see how their friendship unfolded and like all the events and things that are going on. Onto the other 2 books that I've been reading. The first one is The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. The Bell Jar is on my 25 books to read in 2025. I had the strangest, like strongest urge to read this when I finished The Night in the Moth by Rachel Gillig, which was my most recent 5-star read. I adored that book. If you have not read a Rachel Gillig book, I implore you to start either of her duologies. She knows how to write gothic fantasy and set an eerie kind of setting so well. For some reason, after I finished it, I really wanted to read a classic. So I picked up The Bell Jar, and I was really invested in like the first 50 pages or so of this book. Really hard to get through. I kind of feel like none of the things in this book is being absorbed in my brain whatsoever. And I don't know if I should stop reading it to give it a more fair chance when I'm in the mood for it, or it could maybe just not be the book for me. For those of you who don't know, this book is about Esther Greenwood. It's like part autobiography, part fiction of Sylvia Plath's life. I'm just not fully enjoying the writing and the characters or anything in this book. I know a lot of classics like are kind of more character driven than plot driven, but I feel like things just don't really make sense. Therefore, I'm not enjoying it very much. So that's kind of my reading experience with The Bell Jar right now. And then for the last book that I'm currently reading, that is Deep Cuts by Holly Brickley. This book is about 2 people who really love music, really love analyzing music, really love everything about music. Not only that, but they really also love songs. They actually make that distinction within the book. This book is about Percy and Joe. They kind of have an odd friendship. I feel like I've heard people compare this book to Normal People and how the relationship kind of develops in there. She meets Joe in a bar one day, they bond over music, and he finds that she can really help make his music better. So essentially they build this friendship with each other where Percy really helps Joe develop his music. Percy doesn't have musical ability of her own. She doesn't play an instrument, she doesn't sing, she doesn't even like really write her own music at all either. And their friendship kind of seems like up and down. Percy has reflected that she's interested in him, and he has also kind of shared the same interests. However, he values how much she can offer to his music more than the relationship they could potentially have. I'm about 50% into the cuts so far. I don't think it's going to be a 5-star or anything, but I am very much enjoying Percy's analysis of songs. Yeah, I am enjoying this so far. I do think if you're a fan of Sally Rooney's writing, and then also if you're a fan of Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin, I feel like this also kind of falls within that realm because it's about two friends who kind of have this like push and pull with each other, being really passionate about a specific topic. And in Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, it was video games, and in this book, it's songs. So that's pretty much what I'm reading versus what I'm doing for today at least. But other than that, I'm not sure what this video is going to look like. So we shall see.
Daunting is that you essentially, when you start writing a novel, you are standing at the edge of the desert.
Currently Tuesday, I am working at the moment, but I just wanted to give a little bit of an update on yesterday's event. That was like the first book event I've ever gone to, and I think that was a great first book event because Schwab is just so charismatic and energetic, and she's able to answer questions in such an elegant way. You can tell by the way she answers questions. Her writing and her prose would be just as like magical, just as eloquent, because if she can speak that, obviously with time and energy and like a computer and edits and stuff, that she can write very good prose. She also talked about how she has ADHD and how she finishes projects and books and things like that with ADHD and how that kind of like plays into it. The segment that really stuck with me was when she was talking about being a perfectionist. I wouldn't say I'm a huge perfectionist anymore, but I used to be like a huge perfectionist. I think I've definitely tamed that down a little bit, but she said something along the lines of like, I wish I wrote down this quote when it happened, but I was just kind of like in awe. But she said something along the lines of like, even if it being like the work that you're doing isn't perfect, as long as it has purpose, it is still important. And that really resonated with me, so that's something I'm gonna be thinking about. So that's all I wanted to chat about. It was a good event yesterday. The Schwab is an amazing speaker. I love the way that she answers questions so much. And I think it was a really good event for me to go to as like a first time like book event. So that was honestly quite fun. I had a fun time yesterday, and today I am very tired, but I'll do my little Tuesday check-in. I should go make dinner soon, but I did want to show the stunning copy of Barrier Bones and Midnight Soil. B. Schwab mentioned that none of the copies are like limited edition, so all of them, in no matter what store you buy it in, is a signed copy. Look how gorge. And then the signature is on the inside. I'm so excited to read this.
Baby, when I look in your eyes, I can see you as a child. The river gives us every good thing, and then it takes it all away. Don't take me away from you. Don't take me away from you.
Hello, happy Friday. I do start work in about like 20-ish minutes, but the reason why I wanted to give an update was because I finished Deep Cuts by Brickley. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot more at the beginning than I did in the latter half. I didn't really connect with any of the characters and connect with the storyline at all, but I did enjoy it. I loved the writing in the book. There were some like beautiful lines in here, like lines that were just so captivating. And although I didn't know any of the songs really, I enjoy any books that have characters who are really good or really passionate about something and they talk about it a lot, because that kind of interests me. It's like getting to read about someone else's perspective in a different life. I am a little bit further in to reading the Bell Jar now, which I'm so happy about. I'm so excited for me to finish reading this book, to be honest. So I'm tracking through the last half of the Bell Jar. I'm on page 188 and there are 225 pages in this book. So I'll finish this book by the end of June. I don't know if I'm going to finish it in this video, but I think I'm just not vibing with how the story is written. I might read a chapter of this before work. Other than that, my days just work. It is a super gloomy day today, so I was hoping to go for a walk or a run. I don't think I'll be able to, so I'll probably just do a home workout after work and dinner. Then I have a bunch of homebody related plans. It's been a couple of hours of work, but I remembered that I went to the dollar store yesterday and I wanted to do a little bit of a haul for my Dollarama supplies, because if you also scrapbook or journal or whatever, I would implore you to check Dollarama because they have so many crafting supplies for a pretty good price. Honorable mentions are these two paper pads. They're these paper blocks with so many different patterns. This one is just botanicals, but it has like pink florals, green florals. This one is Vintage Gardens, which is more green themed with green botanicals and green prints. And then what I most recently got yesterday is a blue theme. It's called Inspirations. It has blue florals, blue paper, and also the brown. And I also got this set of washi tapes. There's 24 washi tapes for $4, which is pretty good. And all these patterns are so cute. So I'm very excited to use these blue washi tapes with the blue paper I just got. I don't think I've ever mentioned this, but one of my other hobbies outside of reading has been playing games. The only game I play is Valorant at the moment. And currently there's an international tournament going on, so I've been watching that on the side. That is a hobby that I do outside of my reading hobby. Currently 4:30 p.m. and I just did a bunch of chores and things that I need to do around the house. What I really wanted to work on today, or I guess like on the weekend specifically, was my reading journal. On Friday I already finished my scrapbook and like my junk journal stuff, and now I have some time to work on my reading journal. So that's my plan for the next little bit. Time has passed since I last chatted, but I have finished some of the pages that I wanted to update for my reading journal. So I just wanted to share and show what that is. I didn't do all the spreads that I set out to do. There are 3 spreads that I wanted to do that I didn't get to do because I kind of lost momentum and creativity and I just didn't feel like doing it anymore. So I'll show what I did update in my reading journal. I didn't do my full monthly update because it is only June 22nd. So I do have a couple of more days left of June, and I don't really like updating it midway because I get kind of confused at the end of the month. But I did update was my 2025 Hall of Fame. I added Great Big Beautiful Life, The Will of the Many, and The Night and the Moth. I know June isn't over, and I think I can read at least 2 more books, or at least one for sure, and possibly another book by the end of the month. month, and the one I'm currently reading is One Golden Summer, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And then I also plan to read Bury Your Bones and The Midnight Soil, which I have high hopes for both of those books. I just loved The Night and the Moth so much that I wanted to include it in my Hall of Fame. And then I updated my book bingo page. This includes like a little game with prompts, I guess, on the bingo. Essentially, I just print out book covers every time a prompt is answered. So I was able to fill in like 7 more, but I haven't updated this since like March, I want to say. So that's my book bingo filled out so far. I already got bingo here. Oh, and bingo across. And then I also made a summer TBR page. I already set the summer TBR before June started, so I've already read 3 of the books on the list. But here's my summer TBR. And then, oh, I already did this like last month, back in end of May, early June. Last thing I did yesterday was work on My Will of the Many and The Night and the Moth pages. I usually do full cover spreads for like books that I really like or books that I rated 5 stars. I really like how these turned out. I think the blue and the brown theme tied together really well. But anyways, I'm very happy with this spread. And that's all I did for my reading journal. I was going to do my July setup page, a new releases for the end of the year page, and then also something else. Oh, I was gonna set up my dream wrap up page, but I got lazy, so that's all I did for my reading journal. Also, a reading update. I did end up starting One Golden Summer by Carley yesterday night. Me and my best friend are like buddy reading this right now as part of our 2-person book club. And I've only ever read Every Summer After by Carley, and I really enjoyed it, except for the thing that happens at the end of the book. But One Golden Summer is about Charlie Florrick, who is the main character's love interest's brother in Every Summer After. And One Golden Summer is also in their perspective of like a new female character. So Charlie's the love interest, but it's in the perspective of Alice. She lives in Toronto, but she's helping take care of her grandmother, so she decides to take her up to the lake for the summer, which is where Charlie is living for the summer as well. And they meet and they instantly have this like flirty banter connection going on. I can sense where the plot line is going to go and like certain scenes that might happen, but I'm enjoying it so far. It's a fun summer read and I'm excited. I also don't know if I ever gave like a formal review of Deep Cuts, because I feel like I finished it and then I talked about it, but I don't think my thoughts were coherent. And I finally wrote my Goodreads review for Deep Cuts. I'm just gonna read it out. I gave it 3.5 stars, and I said, I'm realizing that I really enjoy the premise of books where characters are so obsessed with their craft that they become dysfunctional as normal people, and as a result develop dysfunctional romantic relationships. For example, The Favorites. That kind of obsession / obsessive love for something is really addicting to read about, usually, but the way this was written, it felt like I was savoring the writing more than enjoying the plot itself. I would say this is a pretty good depiction of being in your 20s and being in a years-long situationship, friendships you develop, the jobs you'll have and hate, a messy and toxic time, but more realistic than other books of a similar nature, meaning more realistic than other books labeled like messy and toxic. I didn't really know any of the songs personally analyzed, but I found it super interesting because I love when people analyze song lyrics, and it didn't take away from the story for me. I didn't find the storytelling super compelling, but this was an enjoyable read. That was my review of Deep Cuts and my review of One Golden Summer that I'm currently reading. For the rest of the day, I'm probably just gonna do a bit of crocheting on my blanket that I've been working on, and then I'm gonna read, and I'm very excited to read.
Hey, how's your day? I don't know if I'm interrupting what you say. I've got to know if I've been MIA. I can make it up to you right now. What you say, you should know. I see more